to be too.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Andra Annette, and here's Lorilet Monegro trying to sneak off the screen.
I'm trying to hide, everyone. Trying
And
to
we
hide.
are Soul Code. So we were talking about something before we went on the show, and I said, let's talk about it. Right? And she goes, oh no. So listen, we're in the online space and we meet all kinds of characters out here. Okay. I was just telling her about a situation where someone told me they wanted me to speak on their global stage, and this is not the first time they sent this to me, and they said, we see you haven't filled out the application. So I felt bad. I said, okay, let me go through the process, right? But it was a 13-minute video to another 13-minute video. It was all redundant. It all said the same thing. And then, of course, there was $100 application fee. And they're interviewing hundreds of people and they're only picking 20. So what they're doing is they're taking a lot of people for $100. And or are they really, is this really about speaking globally, or is this really about another income for them? Right. So there's a lot
Correct.
of people out there monopolizing on what they think people are interested in to grow their business. There's a lot of people out there that are saying, oh, you have to be visible, you have to be this, you have to be this, you need a book, you need this. And the only thing you need to do is show up and be yourself. So there are a lot of characters out there online. And I just want you to be really mindful because people will try and sell you a bridge out here, and it's just ridiculous. So, I
I'm
had
going to mute myself.
so no, but I had someone the day before in a group say, if you were going to speak about one thing, what would it be? And I said, digestive health, because that's what I do, right? Um, oh, I would love to speak to you. We have this summit coming up. And she sent me a thing all about her. She said, I want you to feel like you know me. So it was like a 20-minute video about her. I felt like I knew her intimately at the end of that. And um and it was like really her trying to prospect me instead of really like interviewing me or getting to know me. So people are coming up with these creative ways to prospect instead of just DMing you and being sleazy now, but it's still prospecting. So just be mindful. Everything isn't what it seems out here, and just be cautious, be safe. So what do you think about all that?
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is that unfortunately, many people call themselves experts of things they've never even, I don't know, like they're just never even done in their lives. And it's a little bit of a problem because what happens is that people who are expert in their fields, because they've practiced it 10, 15, 20 years, whatever length of time, may not necessarily know all of the tactics of the street out there, of marketing and of being in the middle of the world out there selling what's unsellable. And it really is a problem because then they position other people in a situation where there's no trust in the market. And it's sad actually because human nature can have such a variety in terms of their belief systems, of what's right, what's wrong, what's just and fair. I I personally, don't go around telling people weird stories, Can very unique things happen with a lot of dedication, consistency, because that's number one for any kind of change or transformation that we're seeking is that consistency. And I think that, people who are these one-off sales and they're just trying to get people's money, they don't care. They'll tell you everything you want to hear and then run.
But I think they're taking advantage of people that are desperate, and I'm not okay with that. So
Oh, absolutely
that
not.
that that's why I talk about these things out here. So uh, there's a lot of people out here that are claiming expertise, and I don't even think they've walked a step in that direction, never mind miles, right? So, I mean, I'm a gut health expert. I'm not claiming to be something I'm not. This is what I've been doing forever. And this is what I struggled with. And when doctors couldn't give me the answers, I found them myself, right?
Mhm.
But, it's like the person who's selling weight loss and they're grossly overweight, it just doesn't make sense. So,
Mhm.
I think people should be very in tune with that. So if someone's out there selling health and they don't look healthy, then it's an indication that there's something off, right? But
Mhm.
because they market themselves or position themselves in a way that makes it look good, but anything can be done right now between AI and all these apps. People can look like they're in Ireland or anywhere in the world, and they could
They're
be
not.
sitting in their bedroom, right? So you have to really be an investigative reporter out here, because a con is a con. And if someone is taking your money for products and services and they can't deliver that product and they can't deliver that service, then it's a scam. They are taking your money and you work way too hard for your money. So ask those kind of questions when, let's say you're going to work with a coach. What is the return on investment, right? So what is there a guarantee? You have a right to ask for a guarantee, and anybody who won't stand behind their product and services is somebody
Mhm.
that probably shouldn't be trusted, right? Because if I'm going to promise you something that if working with me in 3 to 4 months is going to get you this, then you should be in 3 to 4 months at that goal unless you didn't put in any effort, right?
Right.
So there should be some kind of condition on both people's part. You will have A, B, C, and D if you show up for every call, you put in the work, and you do. There's ways to do it where both people can be satisfied, but you should get a results, right? So a lot of the market right now is um dysregulated, and there's a desensitization, I want to say, because people have bought services and just not gotten those results.
Well, I'll tell you something though, because that can be a very sticky thing. I think even the most dedicated people have bought courses that they never finish, that they never follow through. So the problem with this is that it really, the onus is on the person doing the work, right? Because a person could be an expert in anything, but if they're not doing the work, they can't go ahead and blame the other person for them not doing their courses. And I say that because I have been guilty of that. I've bought things that I didn't follow through. And while it may not have been the right thing to do, I'm not going to come over here and tell you that was something I never did. I have. And so I think that the problem is not on that end. The problem is on people selling things they shouldn't be selling to begin with because they don't even know what
With
they're
that,
selling.
but I agree with that too. So listen, I have bought things online that I thought that I wanted and then got it, and it was something totally different than when it was supposed to be, right? Like JV Zoo offers all these.
I
um
don't know what that is.
JV Zoo is a company with AI and all this other stuff, and it's supposed to be very simplistic, and it's not. You need like an engineering degree just to get through the first step, and it's ridiculous. And when I purchased it, I wasn't in that place tech wise. I I paid for it. I got a deal on it, and I said, "Well, this was a mistake." But I was willing. I didn't keep going after the guy saying, "I want my oh, I want my money back." And I could have gotten, you had 30 days to get your money back. And I said, well, let me see if I can figure any of it out in 30 days. And then I got busy and I didn't. But I own that. I said, okay, I bought something
Right.
I'm not ready to use, but it's still there. I still own it. So I can go back and look at it anytime I want. So we all are, we all buy things and we don't put in the work, or we don't finish it, or it's the wrong product for what we were looking for, because that happens a lot too.
That happens a lot. And I'll tell you,
Somebody
if
could be
people are
selling
honest,
something listen, somebody could be selling something to calm your nervous system, and you get in there and it's an exercise course for a triathlon, whatever, I can't say that word. Um, but you know what I mean. That you can't always know, because you have to realize that there's different people, right? So their thought processes and your thought processes are very different. So someone might say this is going to help with stress management, and then you get it, and it's actually something that's stress provoking for you. So would you do it? No, right? So but what I'm saying is the way to fix that problem with return on investment is that if someone is willing to show up and do the work, they put in the work, they do the homework or whatever it is you tell them to do, and they still don't get those results, then there should be some kind of return, some kind of refund. So if they're doing everything and it just doesn't work, right? Because that would kind of give people more of an incentive to buy. When you give them a guarantee, it does give more of an incentive to buy.
To be honest
So
with you, in this, I differ with you. I've seen people that sell digital products and it's no exchanges, no returns. Because once you download the item, you have the whole thing in your hand, and it's not
that's different.
fair.
That's digital. That's like
No,
me at that.
but that's somebody can buy a digital product, be like, nope, this didn't meet my standard. That's not what I
I'm
want. This is
talking
not.
about like consulting or coaching. I'm not talking about digital products or something that once you have it, it's yours. I'm
It's
not talking
yours.
about that because I sell digital products everywhere online and books and stuff. And what are you going to do? Buy a book, say you didn't like it, and return it? No, it's not going to happen, right? So, but also there could be a different kind of exchange where if someone bought the wrong course, let's say someone comes to your online shop or your website, and they bought something like a course that they thought was for weight loss, and it's really for thyroid, right, or gut. Well, then you could sit down and have that conversation with them that the gut is their key to weight loss,
You that
or
might
you
be your
can give
policy.
or
That
you
might be
can
your
give
policy.
them an exchange for something of equal or lesser value for something they really want. But
Right.
my problem is not any of this. My problem is that so many people are actually selling things that they have no business selling. They know nothing about it. They don't have they don't have the knowledge to be selling what they're selling. And they're promising people a rose garden and they're giving them every thorn along the way. And I think that people are very desensitized to that. And you have a lot of people out there telling people that you don't have to know everything. You only have to be one step ahead of the person you're teaching. Well, that's great, but what happens when that person catches up? Then what do you teach them? Because you got the rest of the course to finish, right? Or the rest of the process. Then you redirect them to somebody else. So I think it's setting a very bad precedent because they're telling people that they can make millions of dollars online and getting people all gung ho and people going out there and buying an AI app or something and creating things that they don't know how to get people through because guess what? AI can't be in the room with them when they're actually helping that person, right? Oh, wait, let me check and see what Jet said, you know? So unfortunate, but even in things that people are doing, these events and these webinars. Everybody knows that these events and these webinars are a sale, leading you to a sale, Nobody's stupid, right? So,
But
they,
But I don't have a problem with any of that because the truth of the matter is, you as a person who has a product has to announce your product. So that I don't have a problem with any of that. I have a problem with the people are using deceptive practices. But other
Well,
than
these are
that,
all deceptive
no, if you
practices.
were to offer a webinar right now and you're there offering value for real and you actually taught them a lesson and then you say, hey, and by the way, I have this course, that course, the other one, check out my shop, check out, you're not doing anything wrong. You're actually
But that's
servicing them.
very different than what a lot of people are doing. A lot of people will tell you there's nothing to sell. And they do that with a call too. They'll say book a call, there's nothing to sell, we're just giving all value. And then you get to the call and they are actually trying to sell you something. And
Mm.
before they end of the call, they have already made that pitch. So
Mm.
or
Well,
they
I
might.
mean, to be honest with you, I think that each person runs their business differently. But I'll tell you, if somebody tells me, okay, I want to work with you, and I say, okay, we're gonna sit on a call and I'm spending my time, I'm spending my mental capacity, I'm creating a plan, I'm getting worried about your problem to make it my own, to solve it and help you find the path. I should not be held like if I'm doing something wrong, if I tell them that I offer X, Y, and Z for this. That's the reason why you're having that kind of call
But
to
that's
find a strategy to support them. I'm not having a problem with any
but
of that.
that's different. That's someone that's actually booking a call to get your services. But people are using very deceptive practices and they're saying that they're having you to the call for A and they're really producing B when you get there. So that's what I mean.
Mm.
That's deceptive. So if I was having a problem with a child and I needed your help with speech services, then I would know that when I got on that call, you were going to give me some value and tell me, what you think I should do. And if you would work with me, then I would help you with that process. This is where you are. This is where you want to go. This is the bridge that I'm going to
Right.
create. I get all that. But they're using deceptive practices and they're not being straightforward and they're not being authentic. And that's what I have the problem with because, you know, lying by omission is still a lie, you know?
Right, but the thing is, I don't want to speak for other people. There are tons of
Uh,
people that are not appropriate, but yet they might be multimillionaires in the market. And I think that the bigger issue here is, as a consumer, you need to get yourself educated, right? If the person is saying a whole bunch of stuff that's weird, that just it's far-fetched, right? Like they don't know you from a hole in the wall, and they're promising you the earth, the moon, and the stars, and the rivers, and everything in between. Something is wrong with that. And I think that this is where people kind of have to come to their five senses and become clear about their goal, because otherwise anybody selling a shiny object is going to be attractive and they're going to chase this one and the next one, and whoever comes in front of them, instead of saying, oh no, this woman knows her stuff, or this person knows her information. Oh, this person has been working doing this for X number of years. They've seen a case or two. I bet they have some insight, right? It's different. And I think that that has to be the person. Like, for example, me, when I want to go to a doctor, listen, I go and I research. Do I want this person? Is it true that I want that person? Do I understand what they're posting? Does it seem that they're posting some weird thing and always selling me something, always selling me something? Because I've also seen that. These people that do that, they are clever sales. They're just selling you all the time. And I think people need to start realizing the difference between someone always selling something and versus someone always trying to guide you and open up your eyes and guiding you with good advice so that you can implement it and get back to them. But no, you'd be surprised. People go with the snake oil all the time.
I know because they play on their pain points.
Right. They play on
But
their pain points. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, so I
It's a
mean
game.
the people I help, I know their exact pain points because they were mine at one time, but I don't
Right.
believe in
It's
playing
not
on
fair.
people's pain.
No, that's
I
not
don't
right.
think that I'm not okay with that.
Neither am I. My credentials, my degrees, just like your credentials, your degrees, guess what? They don't give them for free. So
Correct.
that alone should make people think, okay, no matter how weird this woman is, And no matter how lost she might seem to me, she must have found herself at a university at some point in her life. So I think that this is where critical thinking needs to come in, and people needs to start saying, oh, this means something. Yeah, it means something. You have to pass some heavy duty tests. You have to study a lot. You have to
You have
pay
to
a
take
lot.
boards. Yeah.
Like this is not like a skip and a hop. And I think that if people know the difference between value, is the same thing as, like, not to put down any car, but let's say the cheapest car of whatever that exists versus the most expensive car. They're both cars. You're going to drive, but your experience of that is going to be very different. That's all I can say to that, because people need to start waking up. Like, I imagine if I go around playing to people's pain points. Are you kidding me? This is a very delicate, like, at least for me, is a very meaningful and delicate field. I would
But
never go around
I
playing with
agree with
people.
you because, I mean, you work with people with special needs um, and they are having very unique pain points, and it would be really easy to play on them. But
I'm not going to do that
moral
ever.
what kind of moral fiber would you possess?
No,
So, and for me,
not
I mean,
interested.
I have a code of ethics that I, you know, whether I'm doing it for myself or I'm in the field,
Yeah.
I follow that. That's law in my heart, right?
Mhm.
So
Right.
so I have to be
Uh,
able to live with myself at the end of the day, just like you have to.
yeah,
So
and
guys,
also, yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, and also, not just only that, but the fact is that, there are no quick, easy 1, 2, 3 solutions. If there were, then everybody out there would be doing that. However, there are ways to make improvements, and it requires commitment and it requires work. I am never going to tell anybody, oh, you do nothing and everything's going to be great. No, you do nothing and you're going to stay in the same spot. If you want to stay in the same spot, you can, and you're welcome to do that. But I wouldn't advise that. I would advise that if your child is having different issues that to you, you're like wondering about, just the minute you start wondering, should be a moment you start taking action. It shouldn't be, let's wait and see what happens, as if it's like a surprise, surprise. No. The minute your head starts to wonder is the minute you get into action. And change won't happen if we don't change.
If nothing changes, nothing changes. So we're going to leave it on that tonight. And if you guys have questions or you have insights, we'd love to hear your comments, right? We're very open-minded people. Whether you agree or disagree, we want to hear from you. So please, by all means, comment, have at it. We're always we're always excited to hear from our audience. So I want to thank you for coming in and listening to us. We're always trying to keep things real and relevant here for you on Soul's Code. We see a lot of things out there, and we don't think we're the only ones seeing them. So we want to have these conversations and shine a little light on what's going on in the world. So we hope you're having a good night. Say good night, Laura. Good
Ciao,
night.
everybody.